Unlike everybody else, I had pretty much no anticipation for this film because I've never seen the original It with everybody's favourite concierge Tim Curry, and 97% of horror films that come out nowadays I think are really, really bad. So I'm not a really big horror guy, they don't really do much for me, most of them are just jump scare riddled BS fests. So going into It, I was just like, okay, it's getting really hyped up, everybody's talking about it, let's see how it goes. You know, a second ago when I said that 97% of horror films that come out are really bad and I don't like them, but you always get that odd 3%, that one film that comes along every once in a while, that horror film is actually really good. It is one of those. It wasn't scary. I'll say it wasn't like a scary film. I wasn't scared by this film, but it's the psychological imagery that Pennywise just shows to these kids to torment the living hell out of them was creepy as hell. I'm not going to get into specifics because I want you to experience it for yourself, but when you're just watching it and this stuff just starts happening, these weird creatures are starting to terrorize these kids, like I said, it's freaky as hell. And that's the thing with it. It's freaky, it's creepy, and it's unsettling, but it's not really scary. At least it wasn't for me anyway. I suppose it takes quite a bit to really scare me in films, but the psychological creepiness is what I wanted from this film. I was going into it going, okay, it's a film about a clown terrorizing the hell out of these kids, scaring the crap out of them, let's just see some creepy stuff. And the film gave me creepy stuff, so I was satisfied in the horror aspect of this film. But I was also surprised with the character aspect of the film as well. This film takes place in the 1980s and concentrates on a group of kids who are being tormented by Pennywise. And at first I didn't really know what to think about these kids. Some of the dialogue was kind of cringeworthy, and there's some of the cliche stuff in there like, oh, they're the losers and here come the bullies picking on the losers, and I was like, okay, this film's gonna have to win me over a little bit. And sure enough, the more the film goes on, the more attached I got to the characters and the more I start to care about them later on in the film when shit really gets real. All the kid actors did really great jobs as their characters. They all worked really well together. I bought their friendship, and these are typical 80s kid characters. You've got the one who always had to use the inhaler, kind of like Mike in the Goonies. You've got the one that talks all the crap and like insults the other friends, like calling their mums all the time, which ironically is the kid from Stranger Things. And I say that because this film is kind of like Stranger Things if it was a full-on horror film. But also in Stranger Things he played like the straight-minded character, but here he plays like the cocky, you know, insult your mother character, which I just thought that was a nice change up for him. The point is that I started to care about these characters the more the film went on, and there's quite a few touching moments in there as well. I wasn't expecting that from It, a film about a clown terrorizing these kids. I just wasn't expecting it to have heart, but it did, and it worked. Regarding any issues I have with the film, there's some pacing issues here and there, and I started off not really caring about the characters until about halfway through. I was like, okay, now I'll care about them. And the first half of the film kind of felt like a compilation of really crazy messed up scenes. Like one character will get terrorized by Pennywise with his psychotic image, and then it'll move on to the next character who then gets a psychotic image, and it comes together later on in the film where they all come together like, oh, I've started seeing this weird clown and now they have to go after Pennywise. But the first half still felt like, okay, this scene, boom, here's another creepy scene, then boom, creepy scene, and I was just like, okay, let's get a story going here. And like I said earlier, I wouldn't necessarily call the film scary either, and it being a horror film, I would have liked it to have been a bit scarier than it was. But that does not take away from how surprised I was walking out of this film. Like I said, horror films nowadays really don't do it for me, but you get that one every now and again that comes along that's actually really good and doesn't rely on all the BS jump scares, and it is one of those films. The psychotic, psychological, tormented imagery in this film really creeped me out and got under my skin. I like the characters, I like the 80s feel of the film. Like I said, it's like Stranger Things if it was a straight up horror film. I'm going to give it a 4 out of 5. Thanks for watching the video as always, guys. Let me know in the comments below, what did you think of it and how does it compare to the original one with Tim Curry? And if you want to see more of my stuff, be sure to subscribe and you'll float too. I'm sorry, I had to say that.